Between the 3rd and 1st centuries BC, the Roman Republic had established hegemony over the Eastern Mediterranean, while its government developed into the one-person rule of an emperor. The empire enjoyed a period of relative stability until the 3rd century AD, when external threats and internal crises caused it to splinter as regional armies acclaimed their generals as soldier emperors. One of these, Diocletian, recognized that the state was too big to be ruled by a single person. He instituted the Tetrarchy, a system which divided the empire into eastern and western halves. The Tetrarchy quickly failed, but the division of the empire proved an enduring concept. Constantine I secured absolute power in 324. Over the next 6 years, he rebuilt the city of Byzantium as a new capital that he called New Rome, later named Constantinople. He did this because the old capital Rome was farther from the prosperous eastern provinces and in a less strategic area. Constantine's dynasty prioritized a lengthy conflict against the comparably powerful Sassanid Persia and ended in 363. Constantine was succeeded by Valens. The short reign of Valentinianic dynasty, marked by wars against the Goths, ended in the east with the death of Valens at the Battle of Adrianople in 378. Valens' successor, Theodosius I, was the last emperor to rule both the western and eastern halves of the empire. After his death, the western side was destabilized, but the east thrived. Theodosius II largely left the rule of the east to his officials, who constructed the Theodosian walls. Constantinople had now entrenched itself as the empire's capital. His reign also saw the arrival of Attila's Huns, who ravaged the Balkans, leading to a large tribute being exacted from the Eastern Empire. Later, Leo I failed in his 468 attempt to reconquer the West. The warlord Odoacer deposed Romulus Augustulus in 476, killed his titular successor, and abolished the office of Western Emperor. Zeno died when the empire was at peace. The reign of Justinian I was a high point in East Roman history. Following his accession in 527, he reasserted imperial control over religion and morality through purges of pagans, heretics, and other deviants. It called for a strong military to be a strong emperor. Justinian was about to get one of the greatest generals to have ever lived, Belisarius. At the start, Belisarius participated in several battles that resulted in defeats at the battles of Tanurin and Minduos. At the Battle of Dara, in July 530, he was victorious. However, at Callinicum in 532, Belisarius was defeated again. With the defeats, Belisarius was recalled to Constantinople and accused of incompetence. However, the accusations were later cleared. In Constantinople, Justinian had been making changes to improve the empire, but he was helped by his officials, who were corrupt and possibly ill-advised him. Many civil servants lost their jobs, and the government collected very high taxes cruelly. These and other reasons made the people very angry. This anger led to the Nika riots. During the riots, the chariot factions led the rebellion. The city of Constantinople was largely burned by the rioters, and the king was stuck in his palace. However, Belisarius, Mundus, and Narses, the three prominent figures, were given responsibility to try and put this chaos to an end. Belisarius tried to enter the Hippodrome, where many rebels gathered, through the emperor's box, but guards blocked him. Justinian then told them to come from another entrance. Belisarius wanted to arrest Hypatius, a rebel leader declared emperor by the rioters. Hypatius was protected by guards, and attacking them would mean fighting the crowd. Belisarius had a bold decision to make. He chose to fight the rioters directly. He charged into the crowd, bypassing Hypatius's guards. Mundus also charged to help, and Narses blocked other exits to trap the rebels. The rioters were butchered mercilessly, and the revolt ended in a massacre. Between 30,000 and 60,000 people, mostly civilians who were unarmed, were killed. The Vandals, led by Gelimer, were persecuting religious minorities and had replaced Roman nobility with Germans. After recent defeats in a previous battle, Gelimer had become unpopular for his greed and cruelty, and two revolts broke out, possibly orchestrated by Justinian. Justinian used this situation as a justification to invade, aiming to reclaim the region. Belisarius was chosen to lead the invasion because of his proven military skill, loyalty, and reputation. His army included about 17,000 high-quality troops, along with ships and sailors, making it a well-balanced force. They set sail from Constantinople in June 533, with strict discipline, including executing drunken soldiers, and used signals to keep the fleet organized. During the voyage of about 80 days, many soldiers died from illness or improper food. Belisarius' initial plan was to attack key points. At the Battle of Ad Decimum, Belisarius defeated Gelimer. Afterward, he took Carthage at night and fortified it. Gelimer's forces tried to rally, but were defeated again at the Battle of Tricameron. Belisarius then reorganized the conquered territory. His victory marked the end of the Vandal kingdom, and the campaign was completed by 534. Despite rumors of rebellion, Belisarius chose to return to Constantinople for a triumph, which he received along with the title of consul. Later, a mutiny erupted in Africa due to religious persecution and unpaid soldiers. Belisarius had to return briefly to help quell the rebellion, winning a key victory at the Battle of the River Bagradas. In 535, Emperor Justinian ordered Belisarius to conquer the Ostrogothic kingdom in Italy. The Ostrogothic king, Theodahad, had seized power through marriage but was disliked, and internal divisions made the Goths appear weak. Belisarius assembled an army of about 8,000 troops. He first took Sicily as a base, then moved into Italy, capturing Naples in November. In Rome, the Goths had a strong garrison, making it hard for Belisarius to attack directly. He eventually entered the city in December 536. The fall of Rome caused the Gothic king, Theodahad, to be deposed, and the Goths installed Vitiges as their new leader. From March 537 to March 538, Belisarius defended Rome against a much larger Gothic force led by Vitiges. The siege continued until the Goths retreated. The Byzantines later captured key regions like Ariminum, and Belisarius showed leniency to the city's inhabitants, building churches and hospices. Belisarius then moved to besiege Ravenna, the Ostrogothic capital, which was cut off from supplies and help. He then captured the city and claimed it for Emperor Justinian, but suspicion grew, and he was recalled home, taking the Gothic treasure and leaders with him. Next, Belisarius was sent east to fight the Persians. He arrived during a period when the Byzantines faced setbacks and a damaged reputation. Belisarius trained his troops and decided to attack Nisibis first to secure his rear. He then besieged Cicernon, which eventually ran out of supplies and switched sides. However, up to a third of his forces fell ill with fever, and he decided to retreat, avoiding a potentially disastrous attack on Ctesiphon, the Persian capital. In 542, Belisarius used clever deception to force the Persians to retreat. Khosrow, the Persian king, withdrew from Byzantine territory with fear of catching the plague, which was ravaging the Byzantines. Belisarius kept up pressure during the retreat, preventing further Persian raids. Belisarius's cautious strategies kept his army safe and earned him praise for successfully defending Byzantine lands against the Persians. While Belisarius was fighting in the east, Italy was falling into chaos. Many Byzantine soldiers were mutinying or defecting. Meanwhile, the Goths, led by Totila, took advantage of Italy's weakened state, recapturing northern Italy and parts of the south through several battles, though they couldn't take Rome itself. In 544, Belisarius was brought back to Italy with a small force of about 4,000 men. Totila preferred quick attacks rather than sieges, destroying the walls of towns he captured to avoid prolonged sieges, while Belisarius aimed to avoid battles to save his smaller army. Despite some successes, the situation remained difficult. Many soldiers were mutinous or switched sides, and Belisarius struggled with lack of supplies and reinforcements. He attempted to lift the siege of Rome, but was unsuccessful, and the city was eventually captured by Totila. Belisarius tried to persuade Totila not to destroy Rome by writing a heartfelt letter emphasizing the city's greatness and the importance of preserving its monuments. Totila, however, continued his campaign, taking advantage of Italy's famine and Belisarius's declining resources. One later, in 548, Justinian replaced Belisarius. But in 551, Belisarius was called back to defend the empire from Hun invasion. Despite being low on troops, he successfully used clever tactics to defeat the Huns at a narrow pass, causing them to flee back across the Danube. Belisarius was celebrated as a hero for this victory, demonstrating his continued military skill even late in his career. In 562, he was put on trial in Constantinople and accused of plotting against Emperor Justinian. He was found guilty and placed under house arrest, but soon Justinian pardoned him, released him, and restored his honor. Some legends claim he was blinded and made a beggar. Belisarius and Justinian died within a few months of each other in 565.